Welcome back to the Buffalo Plus channel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates, I'm Jenna Cottrell. The Bills heading to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Buffalo 14-point favorites heading into Sunday's game. Mike, rookie quarterback Trevor Lawrence. There's Urban Meyer. A lot to make of Jacksonville. We'll start with Trevor Lawrence, though. What have been your impressions of him so far as he's in his rookie season?
It's tough enough being a rookie quarterback in this league, the pressure of being the number one guy, and then being in a dysfunctional franchise with a head coach who, to me, appears to have one foot out the door. I just don't like what the Jags are doing. I don't think they have a very good roster. They lost Travis Etienne right away, which would have been good to have another weapon for him. They're not a building team. It's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose the way they have. And I don't think we can fairly judge this guy for a while until they get their act together with Urban Meyer or bring somebody else in when he decides to bail on him. So I do like the talent he has. You listen to the people who've been around him. They really like him. But I think it's awful tough to do in the NFL with that kind of group around him.
Yeah, they were saying, he had saying, Jenna, how he thinks the Bills are one of the most best builds in NFL in recent years. And Mike, as we talked about in the Buffalo Plus show on Thursday, he just does the exact opposite of everything the Bills have done. And the stability and keeping everything in house and all of those things that you have to do as an NFL organization. Some things you can get by with at college and you can control certain things. Like these guys aren't wanting to hustle or do these things at training camp that you can do with 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. These are grown men that this is their livelihood. So it just hasn't worked out. I kind of feel bad for Trevor Lawrence because I think he's trying to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic as this team continues to sink. Because like Mike said, I think it's still going to get worse before it gets any better. Yeah. And I don't know when it's going to get better for them.
And Mike, you spoke to Chris Porter, a local reporter who covers the Jaguars, and he talked about the tone that fans in Jacksonville have around Urban Meyer and how even though, it's his first season, things are already started getting tired.
Yeah, they've all heard the nicknames, Urban Liar, right? That he's just that kind of guy. And then he had that incident, with the woman in the bar in Ohio. And and Chris said it in our interview, and I agree with him to this extent. What Urban Meyer does in his personal life is between he and his wife.
Correct.
He just put himself in these circumstances, and everybody, I've been around, I've traveled with NFL teams. You guys know what teams do.
Yeah.
I've never seen a coach not go back with his team after a game. Never seen it. And if it was, it would be for some sort of circumstance, right? Yes. It would have been a family thing or something. They've had it all prearranged. I've never seen it happen, but if it was, that would be the case. He stayed in Ohio and he's hanging out at a bar, which, okay, that's bad enough. And then he gets himself into trouble beyond it. Those are the kind of things you would think some rookie head coach with no experience would do. But Dan, it's Urban Meyer.
And that's the thing too, Mike. You talk about NFL coaches don't do that. College coaches don't do that.
High school
coaches don't do that. Like I just have never been on a bus ride back from a game. The coach is like, "See you guys later."
Yeah.
And then you heard the reports from inside the locker room of just him having zero credibility.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, can't remember what it was, but they talked about it, that like there's nobody even near Urban on the sidelines. Like there's not even like his right-hand man next to him, like helping him out. He's just on his own. And again, you talk about teams taking the identities of their head coach. Sean McDermott, buttoned up, very calculated, organized team. Urban Meyer right now is the exact opposite, and his team shows like it.
Could you imagine telling Sean McDermott, no, you're not going to go home with the team on the plane. You're going to hang out with your boys after a game. Yeah, like Sean McDermott's head would explode. He usually walks, I feel like, from the game back to his offices if it's a home game to start game planning for the next week. But let's take a sec. As we look ahead to Sunday, I also want to take a moment to look back because the last time, obviously, the Bills were in Jacksonville. Buffalo had broke the drought. Buffalo in the playoffs, they were facing off against Jacksonville. Just to see how far this team has come since 2017. Like, I mean, it is wild. It's impressive. It's I feel like there are obviously some speed bumps along the way, but at the same point, seeing where the Bills are now and seeing where Jacksonville is now, I mean, those are two polar opposites.
Yeah, and think about it. It wasn't that long ago. We talk about Blake Bortles was the quarterback, and he just signed with Green Bay, I think, right, to fill in for Aaron Rodgers, who's out with COVID. But I think about that, and it makes me think about when I hear about teams currently trying to build, and I'll hear reporters or even fans say, "Well, why do they care about that guy being on the team or playing? Because he won't be around when the team becomes good." But you guys were around this Bills team, some of those guys who were here in 2017 helped to get the team where they are now. And yes, it's Lorenzo Alexander. Yes, it's Kyle Williams, those kind of guys, right? But it's also, even when like a Deontay Thompson makes a play in the famous snow game, right?
Yep.
It helped the team get to the next step. You're not going to have all these players come back. And I think about that 17 team that hung in there when Sean McDermott made a terrible decision to play Nate Peterman, and they got blown out against the Chargers, and that team stayed together, eventually made it to the playoffs. I think that had a lot to do, in my mind, with where they went the next year, where they went all in on the quarterback, dumped down on the roster because the drought was over, and it made it much easier for them to go forward. So to your point, Jenna, it was the thing that I think started the culture building, even though there's a lot of different people in the building now than there was in 2017.
Yeah.
So I just did a quick look and a quick count. I went through the 2017 Bills roster. Can you guess how many players are still on that team?
I'm going to say less than 10. I would say it's probably about 7.
Jenna?
I think it's like 4. Jerry Hughes, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Reed Ferguson.
Very good.
Okay, how many more?
How many have counted?
I had 4.
4 more. 8 players
4 more.
still
Okay.
remain.
Let's see.
This is great.
Well,
podcasting.
Trey White.
Correct.
Did you say Trey?
Who did you say? Oh,
Trey White.
That makes sense.
Other draft picks from that year.
Milano.
Matt Milano.
Correct.
No, it wasn't Tommy Sweeney. No.
Nope.
No,
one
Dion
player
was.
Yep.
Oh, Dion is the same draft year as Trey.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Did
Dion.
we have one left?
I believe so. You guys said Jerry, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. One player left, and it's the only trick of this question because it's a player that left and is now back.
Taiwan Jones.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Jenna Margaret.
Yes.
Way to go.
And then
So
Taiwan
8
helped.
players.
Then Taiwan helped beat them in a playoff game the next year.
So
Yes.
the players are Poyer, Hyde, Trey, Dion, Reed, Jerry, Milano, Taiwan Jones are the only 8 players remaining.
Yeah.
Wow.
But do you, I don't, maybe you guys don't agree, but the idea of that building started then.
Yeah.
And it just continued. Not every guy, not everybody was part of it, but McDermott set what he wanted. And I do believe it kept them through, they made the playoffs, and 18 was a kind of a rough year.
But that's
And
the
then
thing.
since then it's been great.
I think 2017 was the vision for what they wanted. Like that was, hey, here's where we see this team being. We're not there right now, but this is the start of something that if we do these things, we can win games.
Yep.
And
if we get the players we need, we can win games. Yeah.
A bit
Yeah,
ahead
they've
of
done
schedule. They had to
Yeah.
recalibrate things in the next couple of years. But yeah, no, I completely agree. All right, Mike, your prediction for the game.
Yeah. I wanted this score from the Miami game, and that Miami game ended up being close, covering, as Dan would like to point out. But let's be honest, that was what do they call that, Dan? Is that a backdoor cover?
Backdoor cover. Weren't covering the
Backdoor
entire
cover.
game.
Yeah, at the end where it's just like, oh, Josh decided to run it in. Great. I picked this score last week. I'm picking it again. 38-13 Buffalo. I don't think it's close. Mitchell Trubisky gets time in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. All right, Dan, what about you?
I agree. I think the Bills, again, will score in the 30s. I think they may score 28. They may score 30 points by the end of the third quarter. I think it's a lot of Mitch Trubisky time in this one. These teams are just on they're in different weight classes. They should have to stop this fight if this was a boxing match midway through this one. 33-6, but that's only because the Bills take their foot off the gas. And I think Urban Meyer might call an ugly, disgusting, really sad field goal when they're down like 30 points to cut it from a 5-score game to a 5-score game. That's how bad I think of Urban Meyer right now.
Wow. All right. Well, I also have the Bills winning this one. Again, they're 14-point favorites, but I have them winning 31-14. They got embarrassed by the Seahawks last week. I think this is a team that, when you talk about Smith, yeah. When you talk about talent, like you said, Dan, it's a different weight class. I think there's some who cares touchdowns late, but yeah, I have the Bills winning this one. I want to see, though, Josh and that offense. Like, we saw it in the second half against Miami, them get rolling. But I want to see them start to finish, play that complete game against a lesser opponent. I don't want to see them play down. I'm done with that. I want to see a complete game from them and get it started before the half.
It's funny, another, inside baseball, as we talked, during our Buffalo Plus show on Thursday night. There are some games that when Jen and I are on the sidelines filming the game, you always want the Bills offense coming towards you. It's what looks best on camera where the plays are kind of coming right at you. But when they're playing really bad teams, you kind of shoot behind the opposing offense. So if there's a sack, it's right kind of in your lap for the frame of the shot. I think this entire month, Jenna, or for what has been a month span going back to Halloween, we're going to be shooting behind the opposing team for the entire time. Because otherwise, when they play a good team like the Kansas City Chiefs, you're kind of running up and down the sidelines because the ball's moving. But when the ball keeps coming one way, I got a feeling I'm not going to be moving too much to the other side because I don't think the Jags are going to move the ball very much into Bills territory.
Yeah, you know me, I camp out. The less walking, the better.
Walking. She didn't even say jogging. It was just walking.
No, Dan will jog. I will walk.
Yeah.
You'll get what you get.
You got a week in the press box. We gave you the press box treatment.
Yeah. Mike Catalano with a Veterans Day rest from a Bills game.
Yeah.
I got to be in the press box. I will say, I really didn't pace myself. I had so much candy.
Rookie.
I need more reps with that because I got to get into a better rhythm.
Yeah. By the way, Jacksonville, I think, usually puts out a pretty good spread. I'm looking forward to it. So,
all
right. Be nice.
Okay. Yeah, the Bills press box, not the best food.
You got to work on it, Boyko. Let's go.
I was to say, it's not excellent. And Dan, there he goes. All right. Please be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, I always say this, but if you enjoy our content, please subscribe. If you don't enjoy our content, then you don't have to subscribe. But we have a lot of fun with what we do. So we always appreciate all the support. For Mike and Dan, I'm Jenna. We'll catch you next time on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel.